watching the Daily Debate live Thursdays. I'm Hazem, and I have the pleasure of your company for the coming hour. We'll be talking about a very important headline tonight, which is Egypt promoting more a sense of partnership and development for Africa. Egypt is back to Africa, launching an agency to focus on supporting major developmental projects in Africa is an achievement, and it reflects a political will to foster a sense of cooperation and coordination with Africa. The Egyptian Partnership Agency for Development is mainly focusing on fields in which Egypt enjoys a comparative advantage and also has significant experience, including many areas: telecommunications, transport, information technology, health, agriculture, and energy, and more. The President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, announced the launch of the agency in his speech back at the 23rd Summit of the African Union in Malabo. That was in June 2014. The agency was established in July through the merging of two other institutions that worked in this area: the Egyptian Fund for Technical Cooperation with Africa and the Egyptian Fund for Technical Cooperation with the Commonwealth, European Islamic countries, and recently independent states. Well, more than one important task for this important agency, and it's not just the area of technical cooperation. Today we have the honor and the pleasure to host His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Hazem Fahmy, the Secretary General of the Egyptian Agency of Partnership for Development. Excellency, thank you so much for coming to the debate tonight.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Well, more than one interesting topic, and a sense of cooperation and coordination with Africa, Egypt and Africa forward ever. Let's watch this report that reflects more about Egypt's support for the sisterly African countries. Providing medical equipment to Burundi is one of the cases here, and we'll be back for further discussion concerning the objectives of the agency, the role, the challenges ahead, but still the dreams that came true.
Egypt has delivered medical equipment to Burundi in response to the country's need to Medicare, especially among its heart patients. A statement from the Foreign Ministry in Cairo confirmed, saying that the assistance is in the form of two modern sonar devices to diagnose heart diseases. One of the equipment has been allocated to the military hospital in Burundi, while the other has been handed over to an organization of health volunteers active in the Central African country. The Egyptian ministry said that the aid is within the context of strengthening bilateral ties with Burundi. According to its statement, Egypt's ambassador in Bujumbura, Yasser Rajab, presented the medical aid to the Burundians at the embassy in Bujumbura and the presence of senior officials in the health department. The aid was coordinated by the Egyptian Agency of Partnership for Development, which is affiliated to the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Expressing gratitude, the General Director of the military hospital in Burundi said that the importance of the aid cannot be overemphasized, as it will contribute to the early and accurate diagnosis of heart diseases, which helps in limiting the high rates of death among Burundian heart patients. Ambassador Yasser Rajab pointed out that the Egyptian aid comes in the framework of the bilateral relations between Cairo and Bujumbura, which transcends the diplomatic sphere. He also stressed Egypt's full support for the development efforts in Burundi, particularly in the field of public health, to create the best treatment conditions for patients, and praised the cooperation.
Ambassador Fahmy, if we talk about the mission of the agency, I guess from the name itself we can guess more about the objectives or the mission. The agency is there for a sense of partnership and aiming at development, right?
Yes. Actually, the agency comes in the context of what is known as South-South cooperation, which is different from the regular development assistance or aid that's given by other donors. In the area of South-South, it is among equal parties, among partners, brothers, and you basically are sharing the knowledge and experience you have with them, and also any whatever also equipment or resources you can share also with them. And of course, it's totally untied and unconditional. only done for the interest of the prosperity of the people who receive it, and of course for brotherly relations with the countries that we do provide it for.
Right. More concerning the different fields that the agency is contributing today.
Well, the agency deals in three major fields. One of them is basically the issue of human resource and capacity development for brotherly countries. Since the establishment for the agency, it has been now almost 18 months. We have hosted more than 2,500 African brothers and sisters in various areas. Usually we outsource this to centers of excellence in Egypt, where they receive them and provide the proper training. We do that in areas like in diplomacy, medicine, empowerment of women, agriculture, irrigation, electricity, renewable energy. I mean, you name it. We also have some cooperation in the area of security, in cooperation with the Training Authority of the Egyptian Armed Forces and the Police Academy, in areas like counter-terrorism and border control, where we share also our knowledge and experience with our African countries in this, and it's becoming very popular, of course, given the circumstances in the area as well.
Great. Since mentioning women empowerment, and we are celebrating Egyptian Women Day, that was just yesterday, so we're talking about also a sense of partnership, but on the level of African women. Today we're talking about business, Africa for business, African women entrepreneurs. How is the agency dealing in that respect, empowering African women and helping them to shoot in the business field?
Of course. Well, of course, you know, this year also is the year of empowerment of women in the African Union.
Right.
So in the area where we work in training, we do have managed to make several courses in that, training courses in that regard. We do have also like the Alexandria Regional Center for Empowerment of Women. We have courses with them in prenatal care and planned motherhood, and also in infectious diseases. We do have also the International Center for Agriculture, where we also train rural women for how to empower themselves. We do it in partnership also with the Social Development Fund. We give them basic skills in how to use microcredit, how to use whatever little stock or resources they have to generate income and empower themselves. They are very popular courses, and they are very effective in empowering women as well.
Right. We can see here an accompanying video where President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi addresses the African Forum. Africa 2016 was a very important achievement on the way forward, a great exposure. We saw African leaders, how they are really keen to be in Egypt and to invest. And we have many potentials to offer, you know, like business and trade and the Suez Canal Access Project, you name it, right?
Actually, this is the third area where the agency is working heavily on. The second area I mentioned on passing, where we send experts, also the special experts to African countries upon request in various fields. But this particular area, the third one, is extremely important for all of us of Africa. This issue of economic integration through trade and investment is very strategic for everybody, and is very important in asserting a new African identity and economic identity, and for us to unite together. Of course, the most major challenge Africa is facing, like many developing countries, is socio-economic development. And the leading forces in that is the private sector generating growth and income, and it is very necessary that we bring the African private sector together. So this was the first ever forum for that reason, a purely African forum. You know, traditionally there are so many forums like other countries and Africa based on foreign agendas, but this is the one that we hope to have it on a periodic basis dedicated solely to Africa.
Right.
And in order to reinforce our African economic identity together.
Right. Well, wrapping up your speech at the forum, Mr. Ambassador, you said, well, a very important motto that one hand cannot clap except we have all our hands clapping together, which means that we Africans, it's high time to unify if we need to move forward and make achievements.
Absolutely.
Is this a motto that the agency is going to
definitely
actually apply on solid grounds?
Of course. I mean, as I mentioned, it's about time that the Africans come together. We have all the resources and the energy in the world to do it, and we are no less than any other economic blocs that have preceded us, if not even better. We have their experience and we have our own experience. And actually we have very strong political will that has not witnessed before, at least in our country, since a very long time.
This has been reflected in the establishment of the agency in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, it's the president was very assertive on that, and of course I do need to mention that also it's unique in our history that our constitution, in its preamble, asserts our African identity, which is also extremely important and relevant in this context.
Right. Tell us more, Ambassador Hazem, about the different partners who are collaborating with the agency today.
Yes. Actually, our business model, of course, is about partnerships. And, of course, partnerships is the modern way of doing business. It's not unique to the agency. I think wherever you are working, whether you're in the private sector, in public, anywhere, I mean, to do your objective and what you are looking for, the best tool is to have a network of good partners. Everybody has a niche that contributes to the larger goal, and you have a much more effective results when you do that. So in our work, we do a lot of partnerships, and we are very proud about our partnering with centers of excellence I have mentioned in Egypt. And there is 3 prominent ones which I always mention we are very proud to be partners with. One is Dr. Magdi Yacoubani's Heart Center. Actually, this equipment we are giving to Burundi. It's in collaboration with his foundation.
Right.
And he goes with a team of doctors.
Yeah. He has been to Ethiopia recently.
Actually, we have also bought equipment for Ethiopia, which is going to use as well, and in Uganda and other countries.
Right.
He kindly enough goes with his team for free. He not only perform operations on patients there, very sophisticated ones. Of course, heart operations are not easy, or catheterization or whatever, but he also trained local doctors on how to use this equipment, and then we leave them for them as a gift. I mean, the
see
impact,
how this also reflects on the human relations.
I can tell you the impact is just amazing.
On the people-to-people relations.
Yes,
and this is what we really also need to focus
exactly. That is our main thrust and our main aim, and as I told you, it's making wonders, and we are so happy with the results we are seeing on the ground in that regard.
Great. Another relevant area, which is diplomacy.
Yes.
It's very important, you know, this sense of awareness.
Yes.
And this sense of partnership in that field. How is it going?
Well, you know, actually, just even today, we have graduated a training course for Anglophone Africans. Each year, we have 3 main training courses, one for Anglophone Africans, diplomats, another one for Francophones, another one for diplomats from the Commonwealth countries. We bring them, we share with them our experience and knowledge in various areas in diplomacy, and it's a two-way exchange, of course. They tell us about their problems, their countries, what challenges they are facing, and so on. And the relations to which we build in that, I mean, I'll give you one, I mean, it was not planned, but for example, 3 of the people who were in the course today, one of them was working in the office of the Nigerian president, the other one was in the office of the president of Malawi, and the third one was the grandson of President Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia. I mean, so and they get to know each other, and they get to know their colleagues here in Egypt, and of course they get to know Egypt much better. We not only exchange knowledge about our expertise in the area of diplomacy, but we also they manage to see some touristic and cultural sites. They appreciate the history of Egypt, and in their speech today they say they're very proud to be part of this legacy of Egypt and its relation with Africa. So I mean, it's also those people become your ambassadors and your assets as they become ambassadors and ministers in their countries, and it's and I have met a lot of ambassadors here who said we came to that training course before in Egypt, and they have